recording. I'm always reaching for something, and so I tried to muffle out the back. I got a new, well, no, I did get a new speaker, but it doesn't work for my computer or for doing this. But good morning to you wherever you are in the world. I am Otter. Streaming Freedom is my handle. So if you ever want to check me out or see what I got going on, you can freely do that. I just always gotta primp a little because this is the first time I get to see myself in the camera, and I did do a little background work and I got a better speaker mic. I don't know if it's going to help or not. No, it does. I did a sound test today. But now how much it's going to help right now, probably not a ton, because I'm using a sound bot for a speaker, and I have a good speaker coming in the mail that a lot of people have bought. A lot of good reviews. So then I can hopefully, now I just did that, that'll be in the recording, but nothing I can do about that now. And I gotta stop doing that now because I'm tisking. Why am I tisking? What is there to tisk about? Oh, I did it again. It's just one of my habits, I guess. One of my quirkles. I love this cup, best Nana ever cup, but I don't love the handle. It's hard to hold on to. So I really think this is meant to be set somewhere and appreciated just for its visual beauty. This one then. Well, anyway, I got my other cup. My other cup. I just want to massage for just a teeny little bit and then I'll quit. But it looks like this is the one, and there's no way of getting more of that out. I have another panel I could put on this thing, and I think I'm going to do it because it would be perfect. Then it would just be us. Yeah. Well, anyway, so today I was thinking about talking about what I think about our government, why it is the way it is. I'm sure a lot of you already have factored a lot of different things in. Things throwing shadow on my face. I don't appreciate that, and then it could come down more. But I just got this too, so I don't even know how to use it yet. But the closer you are to it, you do get better sound. So it was cheap as cheap could be. You can get these as cheap as $20. You know, if just depends. I wanted the kind that screws onto the edge of your table, because then I got more room. You know, I don't have to be knocking a mic over on top of it all. Like I knock over enough stuff the way it is. Well, in any case, yeah, the government too. Now I believe is a lot like, well, it's like a corporation. Well, and it is, but as far as I know, it's not an incorporation. You know, it's not incorporated. Oh, my hair! Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Um, and okay, so I gotta focus on staying on task, on track. So then, and again, I can liken this again to a church. Anyway, this is another reason why I feel that churches, yes, like the whole the whole of a total churching situation, um, whatever it might be, should pay taxes. You know, they say, oh, but we're helping, the poor, we're doing this, we're doing that. Oh, really? I mean, I don't know how much. Maybe some of them do. I don't know how many of them actually do. Excuse me, I should have turned my head more this way or this way away from the mic. Well, anyway, what I wanted to get at, and with that all, is that I went to this one church and there was a man there. He was, at that time, I mean, and whatever, well, he was in and around about my age. And so I think we were probably late 30s, early 40s. And he was very tied into the church. I think he had said something to me about having had been there for 10 years now at that time. And this is quite some time ago, but whatever. He had a problem with going after young girls. He liked, like, 14-year-olds or so. And he had been in trouble with it one other time, and then the church got him out of it, and then he got in trouble with it a second time, and the church got everything, you know, well, they helped him out a lot, of course, and obviously he was very valuable to the system of things with that particular church. Um, because he was a jack of all trades, but mostly, in and by large, he was good at construction work. He did really good construction work. And he could do, any and all of that. He grew up on a farm, and yet he was very much wanted to be a part of the church. And it was his way of, I don't know if they paid him or what. I suppose they did some, but probably not near as much as they would have had to have paid, really professional people. Well, so that's how it goes in these types of places. And I know this church in particular, some people used to call it the casino church. And I really, well, for one thing, they had this big flashing light out in front of the building, big, tall, flashing light, with all of its notifications about this, that, the time of their services, and when they would be doing whatever they were going to be doing, and it did seem a tad bit overkill, but they were serious about, they wanted to become one of those mega churches. And you know their whole thing was, we got to reach the whole world, we got to, and well, it's just that the things that I saw take place in that building for just the couple of years that I went there, and it was very much cut short after I found out about this dude getting caught again and in trouble, and basically they got him off. Again, I thought, I'm out of here. So I got out of there. And then, anyway, so like any organization, though, you're going to have stuff like that. And people decry our government for being, all screwed up and messed up with this Epstein hell. But the name of the game in government, in and by large, I believe, be can become, uh, you tell on me, I'll tell on you. I've got proof on you. I've got, this, that, and so it's leverage. It's the game of leverage. Well, nobody knows that better than the Democratic Party. I mean, I got to watch that up close, front and personal in every almost conceivable way, for 40 years of my life. That's just of my life. So I mean, but this has been going on since the founders. But the dirty deeds done dirt cheap thing. But somebody's got a hot mic on, or somebody's spying on them, or somebody tells one person and then it spreads and it just like a wildfire becomes this big thing like Epstein did. But now the whole fire would probably consume the whole government potentially. Just saying. I don't know, but who knows? I mean, they all want to run in the same circles, and in and by large, they do, because who else is going to want to hang out with them and listen to them drone on and on about this, that, and the other thing, about governmental issues or the things that they've accomplished while they've been in, and so on and so forth. Well, I sure wouldn't want to. But that's beside the point. I've never been a socialite climber. I've never come anywhere near that, really, at all. I mean, I did end up in I think the governor's house, eons ago, and that was through, I don't know, just kind of dumb luck, I guess. I mean, I met this guy, and we were young adults, and he ended up being the son of the governor. Anyway, I don't know. I think he was closely related anyway, somehow. So I ended up going to this big bash at the governor's mansion, and it, well, it was just, it was fascinating. Yeah, and I can totally see how people can get sucked into that. Marble floors and stairs and just everything's just so, extravagant. And waiters running around, it's all real. That they do that. Um, well, in any case, like I just don't remember much of that. But that's the closest I ever came, and then I never saw the dude again, and I don't know. That was just a short-lived deal. I think a butler drove me home or some dang thing, because he was in no more condition to drive than I was at that time. Well, okay, so I'm just saying that's the truth of the truth of, and I don't even remember names. I couldn't even name names if I wanted to. Well, so I can see where people would, lust after that. That would be a very lustful kind of thing for pretty much practically anyone. I mean, I was just a commoner, and I was just working a day job and whatever. Well, so I'm really getting draggy in on this already, but the bottom line is there's not really much to tell about it. It's really it is it and it's real dog eat dog ish esque. Some people take their parties more seriously than others. There is more, opposite polar type stuff like that. But when it boils right down to it, and you get into the who knows what and who's who and what and where and whys of things that tie people together, associate them to the same situation or setting or being in the same photos. Oh gosh, all that. And then there's, the lust for more money. There's the greed for, but I certainly appreciate a president much more who wants to build up the coffers of our treasury than giving it all away. None of that makes sense. The Democrats went way too far. I don't know in what direction. They just they went down. They just went down. They I mean, and then this thing about letting foreigners get into our government as well. That to me is one of the craziest things. I mean, if they are full on citizens and they are assimilated and they are not against our country in any way, shape, or form, I don't know, okay, but still, no. I feel like our leaders should be born here. They should be born and raised here and, really know our country, not just people coming in from somewhere around the world that I don't care if they've been here 5 years or 10 years. It's just got to be one way or the other. And I think the best way, in my opinion, is, you know, no, uh, there are or certainly, unless they grew up here and they are of different ethnicities, fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. If they grew up here, like their parents migrated here and then, they grew up here and they have been citizens since, then. Well, whatever. That's my opinion on that. But the rest of it all, it's a poker game, I feel like, for a lot of them. I mean, it's in and by large, it's about the money. In and by large, it's about, feeling, I'm sure, powerful. And particularly, maybe more so for the men, but we certainly got to see that with certain females in there as well, that wanted it all, or at least. And then, you always hear, well, they're just puppets anyway. Well, I don't know. Nobody knows that conclusively, specifically. I mean, yeah, there's some really super wealthy people in this world, and they uh, they want what they want and how they see things that they think should be the certain way that they think that things should be. However, you know, that is why it is good that we do have some division amongst the ranks per se, so that things can that the people can have time to have a say. I mean, if the people can just if we can just get our time to say what we think about the matter, they're supposed to be serving us, and it's just so crazy because all and then they had the nerve and the audacity for so many years to blame us commoners. Well, I don't mind being called common. I really don't. But those of us who just, we've been in the main fray of, just the people, the average day Joes and Joettes of life on this earth. And so to blame us for anything, and especially when it came to, the carbon BS, while they're running around in their jets and, and their three mansions and their whatever, flying everywhere all the time. And, what do? I putz to the grocery store, once or twice a month. Oh, but the Democrats had me feeling like I was just such a piece of waste on the face, of the planet because that's what they like to do. So that way you don't look at what they're doing and how much they're spending and how much, carbon, they're creating or ah so it just you could go on and on all day about that crap. I just think in and by large, like any association, from the president down, they pretty much have to work together and stick together. They can fight each other like cats and dogs, and they do, and they have been, and they will. And that is the one reason I'm glad that Trump did get in because I don't think we would have had probably another conservative chance at, you can really tell, like with the conservatives, they are really shitty liars. They are. They're terrible liars, I think. And but the Democrats, what they did is they got so entitled and so used to getting away with everything, come heck or high water, that you could just see their entitlement was just dripping from them. It was just dripping from the fake drivel of the news that was being reported. It just was so disgusting. And I couldn't believe that more people weren't getting engaged in it. They weren't, but it took what it took, I guess. It always takes what it takes. So that's it. That's all I have for today. Peace, love, joy, and hopefully some really righteous fun today for you and your family and friends. I love you. Bye for now.